Okay, I've been painting my living room. It's been a slow process because I have to wait for the weekends and I have other stuff I have to do. And so, anyway, I've got this paint roller because I had a box. I had a couple paint rollers, but then I was using the box, and my parents were using the box, and then now I can't find the box, so I don't know what's going on. But I've been buying some. I've purchased some stuff from this company here, and I had a brush and like an extension, thing to extend to reach the ceiling, and you can screw it in for it. You can use the cheap ones, but these have like a quick click in them where you just push it in and it clicks in, which is nice, but it's the only one it works on. But it also has a screw on the end, so you can screw it into a cheapo roller or whatever. And they got stuff that you can change the angles, but it's got for like brushes, and you can use brushes and anyway. But I got some brushes from them. I got that extension pole. That's what it was. It's like an extension pole, and it's a pretty nice extension pole. It's a little heavy, but it's pretty nice. It's like the kind that's you don't screw it down, but it just like catches in a place and it holds it in place. It's not a ratcheting. It doesn't have a pin or anything. It's just like like one of those magic things that it has an automatic catch. You have a lift mechanism, and then it just catches. Anyway. So I thought, well, I started looking at the cheapos, and I thought, well, I got a bunch of cheapos, and I've never had a problem with them. It's just the normal stuff with them. And I thought, if I get something, I won't. If I pay, this, I don't know, cheapos maybe $3, and this was like maybe 9 to 12. I can't remember what it was. I just got it like a week or so ago, but I thought, it looks like quality. And I thought, I wonder how it spins, because those cheapos, they spin real easy because there's hardly anything touching the rod. And I thought, well, okay, it spins. But now that I painted with it, this paint goes in and catches inside here, and you rinse it, and water gets inside there. And it's got all these places for paint and stuff to catch. And when you tip it sideways, the cheapos, there's hardly anything inside. There's like a wire. It's like a wire, and then just like a thin piece of metal that rides on this shaft, which is what it turns on. Now this thing is you put the whatever these rollers are on, and it holds on there nice. Well, you know what? I that's what I was kind of buying for. Is I was reading where one had some company makes one where they click on, or clicks on and you click off, and I thought, okay, let me try finding that. No, I didn't find that, so I was, after seeing seeing how those things click on and click off, I thought, well, I want to get something so the roller, I don't know if I've ever had a roller. I haven't done a whole lot of painting, but I don't know if I've ever had a roller come off as I'm painting. I don't know if I've ever had that problem, but I thought, you know what, I better, instead of having a roller come off while I'm painting, I better get something to make sure the roller gets on. So I got this big, thick, giant plastic thing, holds all the paint, and now that when I spin this, it doesn't, it spins, but it's catchy. And I just rinsed it off, and I started to put it in, because I'm painting the walls now. I was painting the ceiling one color, and now I'm painting the walls. And a bunch of water just poured it. I just rinsed it out and shook it. And then I started walking with it, and water started coming out of it. I thought, man, this is, what? That's all I need, is not be able to get all the paint out of this thing. Because you can see in there that they make it so it doesn't make sense why you'd want this. It's like, how do you clean this thing? If you think about it, look at that. All that stuff in there, and it's all tucked away. And so if there's paint gets in there, which it does, because when you tilt it sideways, paint just pours out from the inside, I thought, wow. So the quality, and like I said, some of the stuff I got from them, like brushes and stuff, and because I was going to use it to knock off paint off the outside of my house, because I'm painting the outside of my house. I painted my garage last summer, and I went to paint my house at the end of summer, but all of a sudden it just went bam, it just flashed cold, and it was like at 50 degrees, and they said, well, that's what you need it to be at, but it's only 50 degrees at a certain point during the day, and then at night it drops below. And see, paint has to have at least 50 degrees to you can put it on at 50 degrees, but it also needs like 24 hours to cure at 50 degrees. So I thought, well, I washed the outside, and I got this brush to do my garage, and it wasn't doing anything. And I went through a bunch of stuff to try to figure out how to get off the paint. Stuff that was specially made for taking paint off, but that stuff disintegrated. And they had these like rectangular brushes, but the angle on them was just stupid. It was like, who came up with this angle? And there's no way to change it unless you buy one of their little plastic angle changers. And it didn't look like it'd hold up to any pressure. It looked like it'd hold up to a paintbrush, but it didn't look like it'd hold up to a wire brush that'd get paint off. You're gonna have to put a lot of pressure on that. And I thought, man, this is ridiculous. And I got a bunch of old wire brushes, and I bought one of their wire brushes. I thought, well, see how this works, and it's really no better. And all this stuff is plastic, and my other wire brushes are wood, and you can smack on those, to get some of, like, if you get rust or something, you're build up, or grease and stuff, quality doesn't always mean quality anymore. I mean, quality is not plastic. In my opinion, plastic does not relate to being quality, even though, they got plastic now. They're making oil pans, and I think they're making blocks, engine blocks out of them, and then they're lining them with steel. But I don't, or at least I've heard about that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know if there's any thing, but they are making plastic stuff, maybe intakes and everything like that. But it's a certain kind of plastic, but I just don't think plastic equates to quality. And they're trying to beef up plastic now. And if you had anything plastic, like if you put it in a car or something and the sun hits it, that plastic rots. So this big thing of putting everything into plastic, trying to beef it up and think, wow, that's beefed up plastic, that must be quality. We're looking at stuff and saying, wow, that's got to be quality because it's beefed up quality. It's plastic. Beefed up quality plastic. It's plastic. So it's not quality, it's plastic. It's cheap junk that they're charging you for. I mean, look at the price of stuff they charge for on a car. Plastic on a car, like bumpers and stuff. Any of this stuff, it's plastic. It's molded. The dye that they use for those probably never runs out. They never have to exchange the dye, which they used to say that, well, we have to exchange dyes on, with steel stamp and stuff. They have to change the dye out because it's like carbide steel, pressing on like whatever kind of steel they're using, maybe for body parts or something like that to a vehicle, and it's just stamped parts. And so they'd have to replace that because carbide steel wears out after, the dyes wear out after a while. And so they used to say that, well, we have to change the dyes out, and the dyes cost money to make. But if you're stamping out plastic, why are they raising the price on plastic? It's stuff. We got so much plastic now, we got it all over the place. And it should be, if anything, it should be like, I'll tell you what they should use it for, is coating like 2x4s. Like if you're making a 2x4s for a house, I don't know, maybe not. I'm just thinking, I've seen stuff that they use like, I've hauled cable, and they took the plastic off of wire, not cable, but wire, just like wire. they took the plastic off and they reheated it, and then they put it over like fence post or something like. I can't remember what it was for. It was what a unique way to, you know, take old wire, and they strip it. And a lot of the wire I couldn't imagine it being, you know, I thought, wow, this is almost like new wire, and they've taken the, you know, they's keeping the copper or whatever it was, and they somehow they chopped it up enough and powdered it and then reheated it and could use it to put over like a fence post. But anyway, look at that. See, now if I had and that should roll. You'd think that should roll. You know, but it's not. It's not rolling. That means if you get on some slippery paint, your roller's not going to roll. You're going to have to push it too hard, then it's going to squish paint. So I just decided, I thought I bought this because I thought, well, I'm not going to lose it because it's quality. But you know what? Right now, I'd almost throw it away. I like the handle. I just don't like this piece here. I like all this stuff is good. I mean, it's nice, and you know everything, but I just don't like this. This is anyway. This is a long video for a freaking paint roller.